Where has the recent resurgence in Gnosticism come from? Why do so many people believe that we live in a fake world? What do strange extraterrestrial beings have to do with the recent woke and truth communities? This podcast will be the first in a series that will inspire us to think, open our eyes, and perhaps change our minds about what we think we know. Let us now delve into the topic of Philip K. Dick, Valis and the Matrix, here on the Spirit Side. Greetings, one and all, wherever you are gathered in the world to listen. Welcome to the Spirit Side. I'm your host, Paul James Caden, and man, oh man, do I have a show for you today. This information that we're going to be talking about is absolutely mind-blowing. At least it was to me, and it should be to you too once we get into this conversation, because this is something that's affecting every corner of our society today, here in America and also across the world. We have a lot of people in the world today who are espousing a certain truth, and these individuals refer to themselves as being woke or awake. But a lot of what they are saying, they appear to be completely unaware of the origins of this truth. And if they knew the origins of this truth, would they continue to call it truth, and would they continue to perpetuate it as much as they do? Now, I realize the information in this podcast is going to go against the grain of a lot of people and what they believe and what they've heard and what they've invested quite a few years of their life into in their research, studies, and belief system. But I would ask you, don't become angry. Don't become annoyed. Don't close your eyes and your ears and shut this podcast off. Listen to what's being said and evaluate the information. Research this information for yourself, because it's not hard to find and it's out there. And what I'm presenting to you today is the truth. This is not a lie. This is not made up. And so if what I am saying is true in this show today, are a lot of people really espousing the truth? Or have they fallen victim to perhaps one of the greatest lies and deceptions to be perpetrated upon humanity in recent decades? I mean, this is pretty big stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And sometimes the truth we are looking for lies just in front of us, but out of reach. Because what we're presented with are bits and pieces of the truth, bits and pieces of facts. Just like people take the Bible and take out bits and pieces of scripture to prove the most fantastic and outrageous doctrines, dogmas, and beliefs. So we need to put this puzzle together and really look at the big picture of what's happening here. And I really feel that what we're going to be delving into here in just a few minutes is the smoking gun on many things that I've talked about in the 5 years of my podcasting. If you've listened to the show since I started with the Spirit Side, almost 5 years ago, you'll understand what I'm talking about. This is some pretty big stuff. So what we're going to be talking about here today, our conversation is going to be about Philip K. Dick, Valis, and the Matrix. Now, some of you may be familiar with the name of Philip K. Dick, and some of you listening may herald him as a bit of a hero. He brought us certain information and certain truths and uncovered certain things about the reality that we live in, the agenda of our government, the big evil agenda. And some of you may have heard that Philip K. Dick died mysteriously in 1982 after his house had been broken into, I believe it was 3 times, and many believe that he was killed by the government for getting too close to the truth and revealing too much of the truth of what they were up to. Now, all of that on paper, and it really sounds interesting. It sounds right. It sounds good. It's a conspiracy, and we say, wow, this guy had a lot of information. He discovered a lot of things. He wrote about it. He talked about it, and they took him out of the game. I've seen a good many of the very popular conspiracy theorist and truther community shows that do herald Philip K. Dick as a bit of a hero. And the interesting thing is that a lot of these people claim that they are religious or Christians or even are more involved in the modern Gnostic Christianity movement. And these are people who will talk about things like UFOs and alternate realities and living in the Matrix. And they will refer to, aliens and say, well, all that kind of thing is demonic. We shouldn't believe in any of this channeled information that comes from aliens or people that were abducted and given certain information. They're very much against it. They look at it as being demonic. Aliens equal demons. Now follow me here for a moment. I'm telling you this for a reason. Yet these people espouse many of the theories and ideas of Philip K. Dick. Now, why is that important? Because Philip K. Dick was, as I said, a science fiction writer. He was quite popular in his day. But in the February of 1974, Philip K. Dick claimed that he had a contact experience. Sitting in his apartment, and I believe he lived in California at the time, if I'm not mistaken, Philip Dick got the revelation and realized that there was an alien presence talking to him, and that this alien presence gave him information that he could validate. Philip Dick went on to call this presence Valis, and that is spelled Valis for those of you who want to look it up and do a little bit more research into that name and into Valis. Valis is short for Vast Active Living Intelligence System. Now, Philip K. Dick believed that Valis was controlling the human race and that he was doing things to us. Philip Dick said that sometimes when Valis was dealing with the human race, he did so in a trickster kind of manner. And yet in other times, he dealt with us in a very enlightened sort of way. Philip K. Dick wrote books about Valis, and I believe you can still purchase those books today. They were very popular. And the interesting thing to note is that a lot of the information that came to Philip K. Dick through Valis was Gnostic philosophy. It was revealed to Philip Dick through Valis that we are living in a fake world, ruled by a fake god. And this fake god is using us for some strange and unknown reason. And that everything around us in this world is fake. Through Philip K. Dick's writings about Valis and him talking about this alien intelligence that was revealing this information to him, there began a resurgence and interest in Gnosticism in the late 1990s. And if many of you remember, I've said time and time again on my shows that I remember that a lot of this conspiracy and strange religious teachings that were kind of mixed with Gnosticism and other strange philosophies really began to pop up in the mid to late 90s. Now, I was there. I saw this happen. I saw all this begin to happen with things that were written in books, things that were being taught from the pulpits, things people were talking about in the spiritual circles. Now, I didn't know where all of this came from, but that's why I say this is a bit of a smoking gun to some of the things I've always talked about, because now here we have it, researched and proven. This whole resurgence in Gnosticism and interest also in conspiracy began in the late 1990s due to the work of Philip K. Dick and the information that was supposedly revealed to him by an alien intelligence. Philip K. Dick's work also inspired many movies, and some of them were very popular. Blade Runner, The Adjustment Bureau, Minority Report with Tom Cruise. Then in 1998, there was a movie called Dark City, which has quite a cult following these days. And then, if you haven't already guessed, in 1999, The Matrix, which was very much influenced by Gnosticism and the work of Philip K. Dick and the information that he put forth as revealed through Valis. And since that time, Gnosticism has risen in popularity and is very influential in many books and movies to this day. And of course, through this information that came to Philip K. Dick through this alien intelligence, made him really begin to talk about, believe, and also write about alternate realities and conspiracies. And then we get up to the year of 1982 when his house was mysteriously broken into 3 times, and eventually he died under mysterious circumstances, and many think that he was murdered by the government. So let's break this down for a minute. We have a whole movement now, and it's at least half of the people here in the United States. Now, this isn't counting all the people across the world who believe in one form or another, these particular conspiracy theories. Many believe that there are reptilians taking the form of human beings, and they're in our government, they are in the media, that the media, the broadcaster, that the anchor man or woman that's sitting there feeding you the news is likely to be a reptilian. Reptilians are everywhere in the entertainment industry, in government, in the media, and you hear people talk about, other species of aliens that are taking the forms of human beings or possessing the consciousness of human beings and making them do these horrible things to further this alien agenda, to enslave the planet, enslave mankind. Now, a lot of people believe this, and this is an idea directly from Philip K. Dick as revealed by Valis, that there were intelligences, alien intelligences, that could jump inside of human bodies and take them over. We have a lot of people who refer to the Matrix, and many of them are Christians or Gnostic Christians, who continually refer to the Matrix as if it were gospel, as if the script of the Matrix should be somehow inserted in the canon of Scripture, because boy, oh boy, there's so much truth in this movie that we're living in this Matrix. We're living in this fake reality made by this fake God and by, ruled over by his archons. You hear a lot about the archons. Some people say that the reptilians are the archons, that the what we can consider to be the evil and bad aliens and the greys are archons. All Gnostic ideas. And these Gnostic ideas were perpetuated and espoused by Philip K. Dick as revealed by Valis, this vast alien intelligence that was controlling us all. Now, I don't know about you, but when I look at that information and I see what people are believing today, this war that so many people have on humanity, because the conspiracies, the agendas, the reptilians, the Matrix. We got to get out of the Matrix. We have all these teachers on YouTube. You got to listen to me and what the Father's telling me, or you're not going to make it out of this soul farm or this Matrix. All stuff that grew from the kernel and the acorn of Philip K. Dick and Valis. An alien intelligence that he channeled and brought us this information. And here's all of these religious people believing in it. This is the truth. This is what God's revealing to us today. Is he really? Let's go back to the idea of many of the conspiracy theorists and Gnostic teachers who do say that yes, aliens are evil, aliens are demons, aliens are the angels or the archons of this fake God that made the Matrix in this fake world that we live in. Let's go back to that. Yet here they are preaching the gospel of a being that claimed to be an alien that controlled us all, named Valis. Do we not see an issue with that? Haven't I said for years that very possibly what we're looking at with this blended Gnostic Christianity and this whole truth movement, that the fruits of it all seem very angry, very negative, very confusing to people, and that this very well could be the strong delusion to believe a lie as spoken of in the Bible? What greater way to get people to believe in a lie than to tell them, oh, the world you live in wasn't created by God, it was created by a fake God. Let's look at the information as given to Philip K. Dick. The world we live in is fake, ruled over by a fake God. Everything around us is fake. Sound familiar? Fake news, fake this, everything's fake, everything's an illusion, everything's a lie. Are you preaching and believing in the gospel of Valis? If you believe these things, this is where it came from. This is the origin of these thoughts, of these movements, of these teachings. Who are you sitting under right now that is teaching you the gospel of Philip K. Dick and Valis? A vast alien intelligence system that rules over man and does things to us, and sometimes deals with us in a trickster manner, and sometimes in a very enlightened manner. Who does that sound like? Do you know what a trickster is? A trickster, is a version in some of the older religions before Christianity of what Satan is in Christianity. Although in Christianity, Satan or the devil is said to be the great deceiver and the bad guy, he is the nemesis of God. But in some older religions, the trickster was the one who played in the shadow side, but he wasn't the enemy of God. He worked for God. He sometimes taught us lessons by tricking us into making the wrong decision, or tricking us into believing the wrong thing, tricking us into taking the wrong road or the wrong path in our lives. And sometimes the trickster would lead us into great darkness and despair. And sometimes the very wise sage would see the wisdom in the deception of the trickster and therefore grow spiritually and grow more enlightened because of it. Some people look at Satan in Christianity as a trickster. No, Satan's not the nemesis of God. He works for God. Just look at the book of Job. But yet sometimes the trickster, like Valis, deals with us in a very enlightened and honest way. Does not that bring to mind the idea that sometimes even Satan can masquerade as an angel of light, the trickster masquerading, which is something the ancient trickster also did. He would disguise himself, as a wise teacher, a pretty young woman, a stranger, someone you would run across, and he would perpetuate his deception or his trick upon you. You look at the world right now and what so many people believe with all of this. Have they been tricked? I would give that, in my honest opinion, a resounding yes. Because like I said in the beginning of this show, as people take little bits and pieces out of the Bible to build the most outrageous and crazy doctrines and belief systems that they want to believe in, so people do with the facts of anything else in life. How many of these truthers, how many of these religious truthers have given us bits and pieces about Philip K. Dick and how he was murdered and how he got too close to the truth and he was a hero and he was a great man and he gave us all this information? One of the fathers of the truth community. Bits and pieces. But how many of those people actually know about or told us about where that information eventually came from? An alien being. that suddenly started talking to Philip K. Dick in his mind, in his consciousness, in the February of 1974. Does that not make us honestly question these movements and honestly question the information that has come to us through these movements? And that information that comes through these movements is very fragmented. Because I've heard people say, they refer to the Matrix. They believe in the Matrix, the fake God, the fake world, the fake reality that we live in. And I've said to a number of them, well, that's Gnostic philosophy. Well, I'm not a Gnostic. Well, where do you think this information comes from? Well, it's in the Bible. Is it? If you're reading the Nag Hammadi, it is. But it's not in the Bible. And a lot of people read the Nag Hammadi. It's a very popular book amongst many people these days. And what is the Nag Hammadi? It is Gnostic scriptures. But see, people believe these things and they don't even know where it came from. Many don't even know that Philip K. Dick had this supposed contact experience where this great alien being that controls us all and does things to us started talking to him. And many don't know that's where a lot of the Gnostic ideas started coming through, revealed to Philip K. Dick. And that all this caused the resurgence in Gnosticism. A lot of people don't understand that, this is what spurred Philip K. Dick forward into a lot of conspiracies and alternate reality type of things that he believed in. How many people believe in that today? But people don't know this. Do they know that it came through Philip K. Dick from Valis? I don't think they do. Just like you hear people talking about the Matrix and the fake God and the Archons, and you say, well, that's Gnostic philosophy. I'm not a Gnostic. I'm just a Christian. Yeah, but that's Gnostic philosophy. I'm not a Gnostic. Yeah, but that's where it comes from. I'm not a Gnostic. It's in the Bible, or God told me. Some of these people will actually say that Jesus himself or God himself revealed this information to them in a revelation or a vision or a dream. Didn't Valis, the great big cosmic trickster that's ruling us all and doing things to us, come as a revelation? Philip K. Dick said he had a revelation and realized that he was talking to an alien intelligence. And we have movements and sects and sub-movements all based on that information. And how many of these people tell everyone else they're asleep, they're evil, they're going to be stuck in the Matrix, they're going to hell. They don't know God's deeper truths. They don't know the real God or the real Jesus or the real purpose of why Jesus came into this world. But yet the truth they're perpetuating is all really kind of wrapped up in odd kind of Gnostic ideology. And the visions and the dreams that they're having are all wrapped up in this Gnostic ideology. Or they're caught up in these movements that teach conspiracies and alternate realities and the Matrix. Oh, but they're not Gnostics. They have no idea that this information came supposedly through an alien intelligence to Philip K. Dick. They don't know that these ideas came from Gnosticism. They only know what's being handed to them by their leaders and their teachers on the internet or wherever they get their information, and they go no further. If so and so told me it's true, then it's true because I trust him or her. And there's another one of those smoking guns that I said we better be awfully careful and stop looking for leaders and chosen masters to tell us what the truth is. Because we blindly follow these people, and what are we following? By and large, across the world and here in the United States right now, we're following the gospel of Valis, and I ask you, what the hell is Valis? This is dangerous stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You talk about the strong delusion to believe a lie. You talk about people that are confused and believing in the most bizarre things about God and the world and the universe. And you don't have to look far to find that. And as I talked about in many of my other shows, all these people walking around saying, I'm Christ, you're Christ, oh, we're all Christ. God showed me, Christ showed me, now I'm going to show you. Sounds a lot like the trickster to me. All of this, one way or another, grows from the same seed. And like I said, this is something you can research for yourself. You can look into for yourself. I'm not making it up. Look into Philip K. Dick and Valis. And you tell me where the great resurgence at the end of the 1990s, the late 90s, came in Gnosticism. And when a lot of these conspiracy theories really started to take off around the late 90s and then into like 2000 and beyond, it really started picking up steam year after year because of Philip K. Dick and the information that was given to him or that he channeled from Valis. And you can confirm that yourself. And then ask yourself, are you on the right path, or is this a path you need to get the hell off of and get the hell off of it quick? Because the people that I know that are humble and spiritual and honest and kind and loving, they will not go near any of that stuff. They say the same thing I've been saying for years, and on my podcasts, I feel something that's very dark, divisive, even evil, if you will, behind this movement. And now I know exactly why I have felt that way. And I know exactly why others have felt that way. That we look at the way this movement makes people act, the way that makes them believe, the way it turns them so fanatical. The hatred and the division. And does all this have to do with the resurgence of racism in the United States? It does. It does. And again, I know it's something that a lot of people don't like to hear, but because of the QAnon cult and the Trump cult, which are offsprings and very much seeded with a lot of the ideas that come from Philip K. Dick and the gospel of the trickster Valis. And look what's happened. As I've always said on all my shows from the beginning, I always go by that one saying of Christ, by their fruits you shall know them. And the fruits of this whole thing has been nothing but dark. It is not enlightening. It is not love. It is not peace. It is not unity. It is not harmony. It is not God. It is not Christ. It is dark. And it's casting a very big shadow over the United States of America and even other parts of the world. And I think we need to know the truth about this, where it's come from. Prove it to yourself. And don't let that spirit tell you that what I'm telling you right now is a lie, because it isn't. And don't let that spirit fill you with anger and vitriol where you say, I'm not going to look into that. This guy's a liar. Brother so-and-so wouldn't lie to me, or so-and-so on his show wouldn't lie to me about all the things that he's taught me over the years. He's helped me so much. Don't let that spirit manipulate you through deception and anger and ignorance. Use the intelligence and the free will that God gave you. Look into these things and prove to yourself exactly where it came from. Because I would like to repeat that one more time. I think this, as I've said for a long time now, this is a strong delusion to believe a lie. And an awful lot of people have been tricked by a trickster. And that trickster's not working for God. He has his own agenda. A lot of you people out there may be woke, but what have you been woken to? Do you even know? Have you heard about Valis? Have you heard about the resurgence of Gnosticism, alternate realities, fake worlds, and conspiracies that came through Philip K. Dick and Valis? Do you know that that was the match that lit this fire? And now that you know that, are you going to continue to stand in that fire, or are you going to get out? That is the very big question, and it's for each and every one of us to decide. And this, again, is one of those podcasts I'm going to say, please share it. Share the video if you're listening on YouTube. Share the podcast if you're listening on one of the podcast platforms. If you know anybody that's caught up in these Gnostic Christianity movements and conspiracies and truthers and woke and QAnon and the Trump cults, it all stems from the same place. This is the smoking gun. And if you do a little digging into it and understand and are not afraid to accept the truth, you'll see that I'm telling you the truth. And hopefully that truth will set a lot of people free. Because right now they're enslaved by a spirit of deception, a spirit of oppression, a spirit of hate. The spirit behind all of this is what is fake. And we need to shine the light of God upon it and expose it for what it is and rid ourselves from it before it's too late. Because this whole thing is a train that's taking a lot of people. It's going to end going over a cliff in one fiery, bloody wreck. Who knows where it will lead if we continue to feed this beast? And there will always be people that will feed that beast. Not everybody's going to turn away. But don't be one of them. Don't follow the Pied Piper. Don't follow the trickster and his minions and his cult followers who tell you that they're woke and awake. Yeah, they are, but to what? I think the evidence speaks for itself. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this podcast ran over the 30 minutes, as I suspected it would. I had a lot of information to share. Do the research, think about this, pray about this, because I think this is important for each and every one of us and our psychological, mental, and spiritual well-being. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, do the research, be honest with yourself, be honest with others. And I'll talk to you next time here on the Spirit Side.